KORK North Bay, your source for news and happenings throughout the North Bay.
Hello and thanks for watching KORK North Bay TV. Coming up is our weekly wrap covering all the news stories and happenings that took place this past week throughout the greater San Francisco North Bay. On Monday in Sonoma Valley, a solo car crash took the life of a Sacramento woman. According to the report, the woman, who was identified as 79-year-old Ernestine Lawson, a resident of Sacramento, was driving along Napa Road, which is at the southeast end of the valley that connects to Highway 121, and for some reason she veered off the road at about 12:30 in the afternoon and crashed. Smoke began emitting from her car, and people who stopped to see if they could help grabbed a fire extinguisher to try to put out any flames and called 911. Unfortunately, when first responders arrived, she was pronounced deceased at the scene. According to the CHP, Miss Lawson was wearing her seatbelt. There were no obvious signs at the scene for what caused her to go off the road and crash. The coroner's office is trying to determine whether alcohol, medications, or possibly a medical condition might have been factors in the incident. As of right now, they don't have an answer and the investigation is ongoing. Our condolences go out to Miss Lawson's family. On Wednesday, in a rural area east of the town of Healdsburg, a fire proved to be fatal for a number of chickens and turkeys when their coop caught on fire. No, this story doesn't involve any humans per se, but we all love animals, and unfortunately, about 10 beloved chickies and turkeys perished in the fire. The fire took place on Chalk Hill Road, and the coop they were in was almost 1,000 square feet in size. First responders from the Northern Sonoma County Fire Protection District, the Healdsburg Fire Department, and CAL FIRE all responded to the scene, not just to put out the fire, but to make sure it didn't spread to any vegetation or other structures in the area. Fire officials are working on finding out what caused the fire, but don't have an answer yet. Most larger coops like this have electricity and lights inside, so it could have been electrical in nature. They're working on finding that out. On Tuesday in Vacaville, a woman called 911 to report that a man was exposing himself and doing disgusting things while watching kids play in a nearby park. Thanks to cell phones with cameras built in, the woman began taking a video of the suspect while she yelled to him to stop or she was going to call the police, which she did. Thankfully, once she yelled at him, he stopped and began to walk away. She gave dispatch a great description of the guy and captured a good image of his face on her video, which she later turned over to police. The suspect walked down the street, and later on, police were notified by people following her story that she posted on social media that he was believed to have been seen at the local library, so an officer responded to that area and located the man, who was identified as 32-year-old Marcus Hardiman, a resident of San Francisco. The officer at the scene tried getting information from Hardiman, but he wasn't answering and instead simply asked to be taken to jail, so that's exactly what the officer did. We have a video of the incident that the Vacaville Police Department released, so let's take a look at that now.
Dude, if you don't leave, I'm gonna call the cops.
Advising me of a male standing on the side of the fence, watching children. We're getting further details reference him touching himself.
Look, man, I'm trying to get your side of the story. If this was a misunderstanding, then I want to talk about it, right?
Okay, take me to jail, please. Take me to jail, please.
Now, see, okay?
Hardiman was booked into Solano County Jail on charges of indecent exposure. This was a great example of seeing something and saying something. Kudos go out to the woman who filmed the incident and called police. This is one of those stories that makes you wonder what the hell people are thinking. On Friday last week in the town of Rohnert Park, a woman poured gasoline around the yard of another woman's home who she had an argument with earlier that night and set it on fire. According to the report, the suspect, who was identified as Bella Chamberlain, apparently got into an argument with a woman at a party at an apartment complex on Enterprise Drive. So after Miss Chamberlain left the party in a rage, she decided to have her boyfriend, identified as Adrian Baca, drive her back to where the party was located and proceeded to pour gasoline around the front yard area of the woman's apartment who she had a beef with and then set it on fire. Once the area was ablaze, her and her boyfriend jumped in their car and took off. At the scene of the fire, a man jumped in and began trying to put the fire out with anything he could use, including his hands, and sustained burns in the process. The police were called, who were given information about the suspects, so they began monitoring their local flock license plate reading cameras, and sure enough, not long afterwards, their vehicle was picked up by the cameras, so officers responded to the area. Ironically, when they were found by the officers, they were pulled over because their car had just ran out of gas. You can't make this stuff up. Both were arrested and booked into Sonoma County Jail on charges of arson causing great bodily injury and conspiracy. This story is going to infuriate most of you, and rightfully so, because it's another example of our justice system not serving justice whatsoever in many cases, and this one is no exception. Let me start at the beginning of the story. Last year in March, a 22-year-old man identified as Aaron Hernandez was speeding down Montgomery Drive in Santa Rosa in his Nissan Maxima and blew through a red light at the intersection of Farmers Lane and slammed into a Toyota Camry driven by a 28-year-old man named Bob Hallmeyer. Tragically, Hallmeyer died at the scene. Hernandez was driving without a license at the time and was heading home after leaving a counseling class stemming from a prior domestic violence case that he was involved in. Mind you, Hernandez wasn't just speeding down Montgomery Drive when he blew through that red light. He was flying. The police report says he was doing almost 90 miles an hour. Mind you, the speed limit on that street is 30 miles an hour, so Hernandez was going right at 3 times the speed limit when he took the 28-year-old man's life and destroyed that man's family. So besides that, what's so infuriating about this story? Well, after Hernandez pled no contest to the charges of vehicular manslaughter, gross negligence, and driving without a license, he was sentenced to only 2 years of not jail time, but supervised probation. That's right, probation with 0 jail time or accountability for speeding 3 times the speed limit, blatantly running a red light while driving with no license, and taking the life of an innocent 28-year-old man, destroying that man's family forever. Unfortunately, this is what our so-called justice system has turned into. In San Rafael last Friday at about 1:30 in the afternoon, a shooting took place during a fight on Louise Street, which is right off of Francisco Boulevard East near the Canal District. When officers arrived, they found a 28-year-old man who had been shot in the torso during the fight, so medics from the San Rafael Fire Department transported him to the hospital where he was listed in stable condition. Detectives began gathering evidence, including surveillance footage captured of the argument and the shooting, and were able to identify a suspect. Plus, they got a good look at the gun used in the incident, which was described as a distinctive dual-colored handgun. The next day, on Saturday, officers stopped a vehicle on 3rd Street, and during the stop, they noticed a distinctive-looking dual-colored handgun sitting on the passenger side floorboard. So the driver, who was just a juvenile, was booked into juvenile hall for possession of a handgun. A bit more investigation revealed that this juvenile was at the scene of the argument when the shooting took place and was associated with the shooter, who they now were able to identify as 18-year-old Diego Flores, a resident of San Rafael. So a be on the lookout call went out to officers in the area, and just a few days later, on Thursday of this week, Mr. Flores was located and taken into custody at a residence in downtown San Rafael, then booked into Marin County Jail on charges of attempted homicide. Kudos to the San Rafael Police Department for their great detective work. This weekend, people across the nation will be celebrating our nation's 250th birthday. It's a day and night of celebrations, including some pretty cool fireworks shows. A lot of people like to travel to the city to watch the fireworks from Crissy Field or other places around it to see a display in front of the iconic Golden Gate Bridge. But because of that, I want to warn people in the North Bay who are planning on heading that way that the Golden Gate Bridge will be completely shut down beginning at 9 p.m. to about 10 p.m. during the city's fireworks show. Before 9 p.m., traffic heading south will be diverted across the Richmond-San Rafael Bridge through the East Bay and down I-80, which will probably be a traffic nightmare through most of that area and across the Bay Bridge. So we just wanted to let you know so you don't get stuck and turned around at the last minute and end up watching your happy 4th of July fireworks show from the inside of your car while sitting in traffic. Aside from that, we want to wish everyone a safe and happy 4th of July and America's 250th birthday. This broadcast is sponsored by Mike Larbury Automotive. 5-star ratings for all of your domestic and import automotive repair needs, located on Highway 12 in Sonoma. Mention you saw them here on KORK TV to receive a special discount. And also by Sonoma Paint Center, your source for all of your home and automotive paint and supply needs.
Transform your home or business with Sonoma Paint Center. As your local Benjamin Moore retailer, we've got everything you need to paint inside and out, plus top quality stains. Step inside our Santa Rosa location or visit us in Sonoma, Sebastopol, and now our newest location in Napa. From vibrant colors to durable finishes and required supplies, we'll help you bring your vision to life. Sonoma Paint Center, serving you in Santa Rosa, Sonoma, Sebastopol, and now Napa. Sonoma Paint Center, color your world.
Well, that's it for our weekly wrap. Thanks for tuning in. We really appreciate it. We'll see you again on Monday for our weekend wrap. Remember, you can watch us on our website at KORKTV.com, or you can also watch us on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, or on our new YouTube channel. In any of those platforms, just search for KORK North Bay TV and add our channel to your favorites. We'd sure appreciate it. We'd like to wish everyone a safe, healthy, and happy weekend. Thanks for watching.